$800,000 travelers entered and exited Hong Kong as of 4 p.m. on Christmas Day. Christmas Mass held for Filipinos, including survivors of the Taipo fire. And Beijing's Commerce Ministry responds to the TikTok deal. Good evening and Merry Christmas. The Immigration Department said more than 800,000 travelers entered and exited Hong Kong via various control points as of 4 p.m. on Christmas Day. Over 560,000 Hong Kongers left the city. Most Night reports.
This was Shenzhen Bay Port on Christmas Day afternoon. Metal fences were placed outside the departure hall to manage the flow of people. Many Hong Kong travelers were among the crowd. While the queue for border clearance was long, it was not an issue for the holiday makers. This is the festive atmosphere. If you don't have this, this is not a festival, said this man. The Immigration Department opened extra e-channels and service counters to enhance clearance efficiency. It estimated that about 11.52 million passengers will pass through Hong Kong sea, land and air control points over the Christmas and New Year period. Among the land boundary points, the department said that Lo Fu Control Point, Lok Ma Chau Spur Line Control Point and Shenzhen Bay Control Point will be the busiest. The Immigration Department also expects the number of outbound and inbound travelers to peak on Christmas Day and Sunday, with around 689,000 passengers and 695,000 respectively. Mums 9, TVB News.
Today is Christmas Day. Scores of tourists decided to stay overnight in Hong Kong to soak in the festive atmosphere of Christmas markets around the city. This as some shopping malls invited mainland musicians to perform at their venues in hopes of attracting more mainland patrons.
Here at the West Kowloon Cultural District's West K Christmas Town, visitors can gaze in awe at more than 60 Christmas trees, with many commemorating the holidays by taking photos with the trees. Having attracted a stream of eager visitors since yesterday, today's festivities attracted many foreign revelers, many of them being first-time visitors.
It's absolutely beautiful here. I've never been to this area before, and I mean, it looks very Christmassy. Looks just like back home in the States, actually.
And I see these from Instagram stories from friends, so we decided to come, especially for the food. It's very hot today here, but I love it like this.
The glorious view, the dynamic setting here, the cosmopolitan group of people, delicious snacks around here, so it's absolutely breathtaking, the museum behind you. So all in all, it's just a perfect place to be.
A seemingly endless flow of visitors continue to make their way to the West K Christmas Town today, with many heading towards the Christmas tree as their #1 spot. Several overseas visitors said they enjoy the festive atmosphere, but hope that future Christmas markets in the city could incorporate more local culinary and cultural elements.
But it's not only giant decorations that capture the crowd's attention, as long queues can be seen next to many food stalls. Lawmaker Adrian Ho said he believes the number of people choosing to remain in the city during the holidays could bring about a positive boost to the local retail sector. Meanwhile, this shopping mall in Causeway Bay hopes to generate the Christmas spirit by inviting mainland musicians to perform. Several mainland tourists enjoyed the mall's arrangement, adding that they would spend between $10,000 and $20,000 during the Christmas holidays.
A Christmas Mass was held for the Filipino community this morning in Admiralty. The event also acts as an initiative to help the community heal from the Taipo fire. Most Night reports.
On the morning of Christmas Day, a group of Filipinos gathered for a mass under the theme of hope and healing, organized by the Consulate General of the Philippines. Unlike the previous Christmas Mass, this year's event held extra significance as the community came together after the deadly Taipo fire, which happened almost a month ago. Among the worshippers, 29 of them were survivors of the fire. Some became emotional during the Mass. Although the tragedy has left a scar on the community, a survivor says some of them are ready to move on.
Because until now, there's people behind us, supporting us. It's like this. So thankful we are celebrating Christmas, even though the tragedy is there. We cannot control everything, but we must get out to our shell. We must continue living.
The Philippine Consul General hopes the Christmas season can serve as a means to heal the community.
We actually thought of having this special event precisely to give them space and time to help them return to normalcy because this is a very festive time of the year.
Apart from scars, the Consul General said the fire will strengthen the bond between the Filipino and Hong Kong communities.
After this incident, I'm very sure on both sides, Filipinos, Hong Kongers, we would all realize the value of what we do for each other.
The Consulate General said it will continue to remind foreign domestic helpers about survival skills when facing a calamity. For instance, taking an emergency bag and their important documents. Memos 9, TVB News.
9 people have been arrested in connection with a case involving suspected forged instrument calibration certificates from Novox Limited. Initial investigations suggest at least 45 certificates are forged. Nasfi Karim reports.
Police seized vibration, noise and dust monitoring equipment suspected to be connected with the case at the engineering company's office and the residence of arrested individuals. Suspected forged calibration certificates were also found in the residence of some of those arrested and on seized computers. Police said that between the 9th and 17th of this month, they received reports from various organizations alleging that an engineering company submitted suspected forged certificates. The cases involved 5 hospital expansion projects and an urban renewal authority project. On Tuesday and Wednesday, 3 directors and 6 employees of the company were arrested on suspicion of using forged documents. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
China's Commerce Ministry acknowledged Beijing and Washington have reached a basic consensus on how to manage TikTok's ownership status in the U.S. It is the first time the Chinese government has confirmed that Chinese and U.S. trade teams reached a basic consensus on how to address the TikTok issue. The Chinese Commerce Ministry said Beijing hopes the recently announced deal for TikTok to form a U.S. joint venture will balance the interests of both sides and comply with Chinese regulations. The ministry added Beijing hopes the companies can reach a solution that complies with Chinese laws and regulations and balances their interests. Last week, TikTok signed agreements with 3 major investors, Oracle, Silver Lake, and MGX, to form a new TikTok U.S. joint venture, ensuring the popular social video platforms can continue to operate in the United States. President Xi Jinping chaired a meeting of the Political Bureau of the Chinese Communist Party's Central Committee this morning to discuss further efforts to combat corruption next year. President Xi listened to the report from the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection. He said the commission, along with various discipline inspection bodies, has maintained a tough stance on halting corruption. The meeting urged full and strict governance over the party with higher standards and efforts to work ceaselessly to rectify any prominent issues. It said efforts will be made in strengthening oversight over discipline, compliance, and accountability. Nasri Asfura won the presidential election in Honduras, ending a weeks-long count that divided the nation. Asfura was endorsed by U.S. President Donald Trump. His victory continues Latin America's swing to the right, coming just a week after Chile chose the far-right politician Jose Antonio Cast as its new president. Nasri Karim with more.
His supporters cheer wildly as the Election Council announces Nasri Juan Asfura Zabla as the constitutional president of Honduras for a 4-year term starting in January. It had been a tense lead-up to the vote count since the election was held on November 30th. Asfura, leader of the Conservative National Party, received 40.27% of the vote compared to his main rival, 4-time candidate Salvador Nasrallah of the Liberal Party, also conservative, who won 39.53%. The candidate for the ruling leftist Libre Party was a distant third with 19.19%. Honduras unprepared to govern, wrote Asfura in a post on X shortly after results were released. I will not let you down. Asfura, the former mayor of Honduras' capital Tegucigalpa, was backed by Trump, who said he was the only candidate his administration was willing to work with. The 67-year-old Asfura ran as a pragmatic politician, pointing to his popular infrastructure projects in the capital. Nasrallah has maintained that the election was fraudulent and called for a recount of all the votes just hours before the official results were announced. The unexpectedly tumultuous election was also marred by a sluggish vote count, which fueled even more accusations. The Trump administration warned Honduras against obstructing or delaying the vote count, threatening consequences. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
And still ahead, Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine remains united despite hardship caused by Russia's invasion. Pope Leo presided over his first midnight mass in St. Peter's Basilica. And North Korea shows off a big nuclear-powered submarine. Welcome back. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky gave his Christmas address. Zelensky stressed his country remains united despite the hardship caused by the ongoing conflict with Russia. Meanwhile, some residents of the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, spent the build-up to Christmas walking around a festive fair and skating at an ice rink, enjoying a semblance of normality amid a backdrop of war. Daniel Rao tells us more.
In his Christmas address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said his country's unity remains intact, even though it is marking the holiday at a difficult time. Zelensky said despite all the suffering Russia has brought to Ukraine, it is not capable of occupying or bombing what matters most: the Ukrainian heart, Ukrainians' faith in one another, and the country's unity. He stated Ukrainians are marking Christmas on the same date as one big family. Zelensky said without a doubt the times of war have changed his country, and what matters now is not so much how people in Ukraine decorate their home, but how they defend it. He said it hardly matters what dishes are on the table, what matters is who is at the table. Meanwhile, residents of the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, spent the build-up to Christmas walking around a festive fair and skating in an ice rink, enjoying a semblance of normality amid the difficulties brought on by nearly 4 years of war with Russia. One of the challenges has been the rolling blackouts across the city, which are reshaping daily life as Russia continues attacks on Ukraine's energy system. The Winterland Fair at Ukraine's Expo Center is working on generators and experiencing power cuts. Still, despite the attacks and power outages, many of those who came to the fair said they will do their best to keep their spirits up over the Christmas holiday. Dunnerell, TV News.
At the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV presided over his first midnight mass in St. Peter's Basilica. In his homily, he marveled at the wisdom of the Christmas story, an infant Jesus born to save mankind. Daniel Rao again.
Welcome. Basilica of St. Peter's is very large, but unfortunately, it is not large enough to receive all of you. I admire and respect and thank you for your courage and your wanting to be here this evening.
Pope Leo XIV unveiled a statue of baby Jesus during Christmas Eve Mass in St. Peter's Basilica as he warned that a distorted economy treats human beings as merchandise. The Pope said while a distorted economy leads us to treat human beings as mere merchandise, God becomes like us, revealing the infinite dignity of every person. While humanity seeks to become God in order to dominate others, God chooses to become man in order to free us from every form of slavery. Will this love be enough to change our history? Discussing the Christmas holiday, the pontiff said, "It is a feast of faith because God becomes man born of the Virgin. It is a feast of charity because the gift of the redeeming Son is realized in fraternal self-giving." An estimated 6,000 people worshipped inside the vast basilica decorated with poinsettias, while another 5,000 watched the Mass on giant screens in the rain-soaked piazza outside. Leo will return to the basilica for Mass on Christmas Day, followed by his traditional blessing from the loggia. Dunnerell, TV News.
The Christmas season was celebrated with joy and prayers in various countries around the globe, from the war-torn Gaza Strip to the festive streets of Paris and New York. Danny Zhou has more.
After a 2-year hiatus during the war in Gaza, the traditional Christmas parade has returned to Israel's Nazareth, where Christians believe Jesus grew up. Residents and tourists thronged the streets and cheered for the marching bands. In Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus from the Bible, festivities were in full swing in the West Bank city again as renditions of Christmas carols were performed in Manger Square. Displaced worshippers in the Gaza Strip took to the Holy Family Church compound to mark the occasion with subdued celebrations during a ceasefire. One of the Christians sheltering inside the church said they feel relatively safe this year and that they're celebrating with the hope that the war will end. The festive vibe was brimming in Parisian streets through bustling markets, specialty food and installations. It's gathered at Bryant Park's 1,700-square-foot ice skating rink.
This place makes me feel like I'm really in like a Christmas movie type of thing, and it's really like magical to be here.
We live in a neighborhood, and it's just Christmassy. This is what you do with Christmas time with your children. It's such a joy for all of us.
In Lima, Peru's national police donning colorful outfits of Santa, elves, and even the Grinch rode on a float to give out toys and bringing smiles to children and adults watching from the roadside. The parade was part of a 25-year tradition organized by the National Police aimed at radiating love, affection, and understanding. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump marked Christmas Eve by quizzing child callers about what presents they were excited about receiving. He also promised to not let a bad Santa infiltrate America, and even suggesting that a stocking full of coal may not be so bad.
Vacationing at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, U.S. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump participated in the tradition of taking calls from youngsters dialing into the North American Aerospace Defense Command, which playfully tracks Santa's progress around the globe. He spoke to a child from Oklahoma.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. How are you? This is the president.
Hello. You are. Oh my goodness, Jasper, Amy, hello, hold on 1 second. Hello, Fred. It's the president.
How are you?
The caller asked if Santa Claus has a tracker on him.
Well, we track Santa all over the world. We want to make sure that Santa is being good. Santa's a very good person. We want to make sure that he's not infiltrated, that we're not infiltrating into our country a bad Santa. So we found out that Santa is good.
Thank you. Bye.
Santa loves you. Santa loves Oklahoma like I do. You know, Oklahoma was very good to me in the election, so I love Oklahoma. Don't ever leave Oklahoma, okay?
Will Santa ever get mad if we don't leave him out any cookies? Thank you.
I think he won't get mad, but I think he'll be very disappointed. You know, he tends to be a little bit on the cherubic side. You know what cherubic means? A little on the heavy side.
Trump even managed to talk about his love for coal.
What would you like Santa to bring?
Not coal.
Not coal. No, you don't want coal. Well, coal is, you mean clean, beautiful coal. I had to do that, I'm sorry. No, coal is clean and beautiful. Please remember that at all costs. Nice, right?
Nazri Karim, TVB News.
All day long.
North Korea on Thursday displayed apparent progress in the construction of a nuclear-powered submarine as leader Kim Jong-un condemned rival South Korea's push to acquire the technology. North Korea's official Korean Central News Agency said Kim visited a shipyard to inspect the construction of what the North describes as an 8,700-ton class nuclear-propelled submarine. The North has indicated it plans to arm the submarine with nuclear weapons. Kim described South Korea's efforts to acquire its own nuclear-powered submarine, which have been backed by the U.S., as an offensive act that severely violates the North's security and maritime sovereignty. Over to sports. Along Florida's Space Coast, it's not sleighs, but boards for the annual Santa Claus Surfing Festival. Hundreds of surfers dressed in Santa Claus costumes took to the waves off Cocoa Beach in what has become a 17-year-old annual tradition. The event brought to the beach thousands of spectators dressed in Christmas costumes who danced to live music and took part in a holiday costume contest. The event raises money for the Florida Surf Museum and a nonprofit that helps people with cancer, this year raising more than $100,000. The record 14,000 spectators gathered to cheer the 400 surfers who rode the waves in 26 degrees Celsius weather. The tourist arrivals is also a boost for businesses in the area.
Australian cricketers enjoyed a relaxing final training session before the Boxing Day test against England in the company of their families. The traditional Boxing Day test at the Melbourne Cricket Ground is one of the biggest sporting days in Australia. The home side can't afford to relax because they are 3-0 up in the 5-match series against an England side who have been outplayed so far. Australia have yet to confirm their team for the 4th test against England, narrowing their selection down to 12. The hosts have rolled out taking a spinner into the 4th Ashes test, with 2 of Michael Nesser, Brendan Doggett, and Jai Richardson to make the cut. Josh Inglis, Pat Cummins, and Nathan Leon will miss the clash. With the Ashes already won after the Adelaide test, Australia are looking to complete a 5-0 clean sweep. Hong Kong residents and visitors were out and about enjoying the festivities and attractions across the city. We joined the revelers at Disneyland, Wan Chai's Lee Chung Street, and Central.